Call of Duty just released a new DMZ trailer with a bunch of gameplay footage in it, so we're going to go through that and point out all of the little hidden details. I've also listened to the new Call of Duty podcast where they had a bunch of developers talking about DMZ, and they revealed a few new features as well. So we'll kind of talk about that as we go, but there's a lot to talk about, so let's get on with it. So this trailer was shown off at the Xbox showcase at the end of it. It starts off just kind of showing you a little bit of the new map, which is kind of on the border between South Korea and North Korea and Russia, apparently. So here we can see it's a city. You can see lots and lots of tall buildings. I did a video earlier where I mentioned in the crafting menu, there's actually a section for crafting parachutes, implying they might be single use. So if you go up to like one of these really tall buildings, it might be difficult to get down from there safely unless you're prepared and you've found the parachute or you've crafted a parachute and brought it in with you. There's also a lot of foliage. They said, like with the new engine, they can do a lot more foliage than they could before. So the forests feel a bit more like proper forests. And when you have the wanted level, so you've like got a load of enemies after you, if you go and hide in the forests, that can help you to reduce your wanted level. You can see one of those little towers, the radio towers that have been in games since 2019. There's a monorail that's working, which is quite cool. I think that's a fun little touch. And you see here, the city looks, to me at least, a little bit more lifelike than the one we had in Al Mazrah. Looks pretty huge. There's also a bit of rain here. In the COD pod, they elaborated a bit more on the weather system, that there are different types of rain, light rain, heavy rain. They also said there's snow, sort of heavy wind, storms and stuff. So sometimes the map will be super dark and kind of hard to see. Sometimes it'll be like beautiful sunshine and easy to see for a long way. And it will change across a map. So, you might be playing in one round and it starts off raining, but then it brightens up towards the end. You can also see here, there's like lots of soldiers and a couple of tanks and stuff, giving you an idea of the kind of enemies you're going to be fighting against. So this is the nuclear power plant. The story behind this map is that a nuclear power plant has gone into meltdown. That caused the exclusion zone, which led to the evacuation. The nuclear power plant itself is going to be the kind of highest tier area. You're going to need like radiation gear to go and explore that part of it. And then it kind of gets to safer areas the further away you get from the nuclear power plant. So we get a little look at that, and then we get to see the infill sequence a little bit for, it's sort of taking you through a team playing a round of DMZ, but very, very, very sped up. Now, in terms of the infill, you won't always infill on a helicopter. You get different choices. You can choose to pay to get in with a helicopter, so maybe that will let you spawn in locations that are closer to your objective. But it has the downside that other players will see you helicoptering in and hear you, so they'll know where you are. Maybe if you come in by a truck, no one will see you. If you like parachute in, it'll be a bit quieter. Maybe people won't notice you. There's lots of like pros and cons for different ways you can get into the map. I don't think they've confirmed yet whether all the players spawn at the same time, like in something like Marathon or DMZ, where everyone started at the same time, or whether it's going to be the sort of thing like Tarkov, where players kind of spawn in at different times, so it's harder to predict. I kind of hope they stagger them a bit. It does suck when you have kind of less time just because you were unlucky with a spawn in, but it is nice not having everybody rush to the spawns to get some spawn killing done. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So this is showing a very, very heavy rain as they go into a shopping center, the Nurigo Mall. So this is going to be one of the locations, and it starts off in the sort of first-person view here. The graphics look good, I think. The lighting looks very, very cool.
I'm gonna head downstairs real quick.
This person immediately walks off, which is a bad idea. Night vision effects look very cool. I would say I'd assume this isn't the proper UI. I think this has been done to sort of make the trailer. Obviously, you're missing stuff like a mini-map or your gun or anything like that. I think it would be cool and kind of brave of them to go for a really minimal UI, but I don't think that's what they're doing. This is just for the video.
Fine. It's only...
Shows a little bit of the kind of leaning around corners and being able to use hybrid sights and stuff. This is all gameplay now, like no UI, but this is gameplay. Like this is what the game will look like. So they see someone there, I'm guessing that's meant to be another player and a gun on the floor, but then they get killed in a finishing move. Now we have seen in other footage that the finishing moves are done in first person now. So I'm assuming if you get a finishing move done on you, it will go into third person, show you what happens. But if you're the one doing it, it does it in first person. But that guy dies, and now we go into spectator mode. So we've got the kind of over-the-shoulder view. Again, I would assume this isn't the UI for spectator mode, but I wouldn't be completely against it. It's got that whole kind of body cam feel, which looks kind of cool, looks very realistic. The animations do look really good. The animations do look very realistic, which is cool. And there's some, like, visual glitches and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's just for the video. We'll see. So they're sneaking through this. They know that there's players coming after them. You can hear their footsteps very, very loud. Yeah, the lighting here looks really cool, I think. Now you do see, I'll just pause it here for a second. One thing that struck me across this entire trailer is this person gets shot a lot. They're definitely not going for, like, realism or anything like that. Like, the amount of times this guy gets shot is absolutely insane. Try and count it. If you can let me know in the comments, how many bullets does this guy take before the end of this trailer? Because it's insane.
Hey, what's up?
There's at least a couple. Now here, I'm just going to rewind this because you can watch the recoil of the gun. This is something they talked about when they did the reveal for Modern Warfare 4. That the recoil is much more realistic. There's no bloom anymore. Instead, you actually physically see the gun move in their hands. And you can really see that in this bit, as they're kind of spraying quite a lot with an LMG. So just when he turns to the right here, you can see how much the gun is, like, vibrating around, and the bullets are going where the gun points.
Yeah, you're all right.
Lots of, like, Molotov stuff. Bit of jumping there. You see, like, as he jumps, he's kind of staggered as he hits the ground. That's an interesting mechanic of, oh, if you hit on the ground, you're going to be slowed down a little bit. You're going to take a second to recover, rather than just being able to, like, jump from something that's, like, you know, I don't know what that was, like 12 feet up, and being able to keep on running. There's a bit of glint there as well. I'm assuming that's from a sniper rifle. I'm assuming not all guns will have glint. I really like the tracers. The tracers look really, really cool, I think.
Boys are making a lot of noise. Be aware. More enemy hostiles are now hunting your position.
Was that the HVT? Hey, fuck the HVT.
So they talk about HVT, so that might be a story mission or something like that. In the COD pod, they do talk quite a lot about the story missions, and, you know, they gave the example that they'd mentioned to us before about a casino vault heist where you're trying to break into the vault, so you'll have to go up to the penthouse first and get something, then you've got to turn the power on, and you've got to go through a whole process to get into the vault, then take whatever you can, and then manage to exfil with it. And the idea that after you've done that in the story, it teaches you how to do it. And you can do that when you're not on a story mission. If you want to go raid the casino vault, you can just do that. And they gave another example of a hospital mission where you've got to go and, like, rescue someone from this abandoned hospital where they're having something horrible done to them. One of the interesting things about the story missions was that they said in the matchmaking, you can't get matched up against other people on the same mission. So when you go in, say if you've got that casino vault thing, you're not going to find yourself in a game where another team are doing the same thing. The matchmaking stops that from happening. So you'll be the only team with your specific objective. That's a really interesting idea. I've never heard of an extraction shooter doing this before. I immediately foresee a problem there of, like, what about the first couple of story missions? Like, won't everyone be doing the same mission? So who's anyone going to get match made up against? But anyway, apparently it's a thing. We'll see how it goes. But I think that's really interesting that other people won't be doing a story mission. Now here you see this guy's teammate gets shot. He's gone down. And there's a really cool moment in here, something that I'm very happy has made it into the game. So he goes out there, shoots this guy. That was obviously a player, I'm guessing, because he got downed and he got finished pretty quickly. And then he turns around and grabs this guy, and as he's rezzing him, he drags him back into the elevator. This is obviously a thing that was in Battlefield 6. I think it's absolutely awesome. I love that mechanic in Battlefield 6, where as you're reviving someone, you can kind of drag them out of the way, drag them behind cover, so you're not just reviving someone straight into the line of fire. Absolutely love that. In the COD pod, they did also talk about the tourniquets and expand a bit on what that is. So basically, in the game, you start off with 150 health. And if you get downed, you can actually revive yourself using a tourniquet. Now, I'm assuming that's an item that you have to have, and it will basically limit your health to 100 rather than 150. And then the only way to get back up to 150 is to find some healing items, so like a med kit or some bandages or something like that. So it's basically like a little self-revive. They talked about it being specifically good for solo players that is not as powerful as a proper self-revive, but I assume more common, easier to find. And they really talked about the sort of solo experience in extraction shooters, that they don't want you to just get killed because of something stupid and then have to give up. They're trying to make it a bit more forgiving for that kind of player, so you've got a few more opportunities to get back up.
Let's just get out of here.
All right, let me get some ammo.
Yep.
So they're doing a little bit of looting. We don't get to see the menu for looting or anything like that, which is a shame, but he's very excited about something that he gets. And then they go outside, and you can see the rain kind of sweeping across the streets. I think that's very cool.
Look for any building with green smoke. I say again, green smoke.
And again, I don't know whether this is just for the sake of the trailer. Here they're talking about Exfil being the building with the green smoke. I think that would be really cool if that was a feature in the game, that instead of having like a map marker or a UI icon, it was something in the game world where they were like, oh, okay, you've called for an exfil, you've requested an exfil, look for the green smoke somewhere, and you've actually got to go find it, rather than just being like, oh, here it is on a map, I'm going to move over to it. That would be really cool and immersive, but we'll see what it's like in the real game. You can see a flare going up. I don't know if that means somebody else has called that exfil. I don't know quite what's going on. Then you see a big BMP go past, which is obviously very scary. And the exfil time in the bottom right, that they've only got 5 minutes to exfil. Takes a sniper shot straight to the chest, it seems. And then runs into a police station, I think. You can hear those footsteps upstairs. The positional audio is something that they've like really focused on. They've tried to make work really well.
I'm inside.
Get your ass to the roof right now.
Copy. Please have medical.
So here you see him talking about trying to find meds. Now this I thought was really interesting because they said that, oh, if you have a tourniquet, then you need meds to heal you back up. I assume it does have the recharging health from sort of normal Call of Duty. But this sounds a little bit like you do need to find health packs. So that'll be quite a big change as well. Like in DMZ as it stands now, you heal up normally just by hiding in cover for a little bit. And then it's just armor plates that you need to find. You just need to constantly keep on putting armor in. This sounds a little bit like maybe even if you're just injured, maybe it'll be like segments. And if you get injured past a certain point, your health won't recharge until you find meds. I'm not sure. Or this is trying to say that like this person needed a tourniquet at some point before. I don't really know.
Oh, thank you.
But it'll be interesting if you do need to find meds as you go through this. So you can see there, him using a bandage. He's actually bandaging his arm up to heal. I don't think we saw this guy get downed. So yeah, maybe you do need to use some sort of meds if your health drops below a certain amount or something like that.
You downstairs.
Negative. Headed up the ladder. Going up to the roof.
Oh shit!
So then getting chased. There's some real bloom there. And them trying to go to the exfil chopper. Him getting shot a lot again. And then they get hit by a rocket. Now, this isn't a thing just for the cinematic. They've talked before about this for Modern Warfare 4, that when a rocket explosion or some other explosion goes off near you, it will knock you down to the floor. It will stagger you, which kind of makes explosives maybe more useful another way other than just direct damage, that you can use it to kind of stun a squad before you then move into attack. And that's kind of seemingly what happens here. And there you can see a helicopter, sort of a little bird type thing, people hanging on the side, that other guy being blasted back. And now it just goes into some more kind of normal gameplay stuff where we're seeing, this is the casino building. We kind of saw it a little bit earlier. And there's one of the first person finishing moves. So this is, I assume, the story mission where you're breaking open the vault. That's what they're kind of trying to show off here. And they're showing off some of the weapons and skins and stuff. Then you've got the Juggernauts, so we know that there's these Juggernauts in the game. These are going to be kind of tough boss enemies that you're going to have to deal with. Although that did look a little bit like that Juggernaut was in first person, so maybe you can get a Juggernaut's skin as well, like just there. Let me just rewind it a little bit. There, so it looks like maybe you'll be able to pick up a Juggernaut suit yourself or bring one in or something, which would be kind of cool. This is like one of the wooded areas that's, you know, apparently way more foliage than they've ever done before. And then they've got some airstrikes, so we can see there, that looks kind of like the napalm strike from before maybe, or that might be what the precision airstrike looks like now. We also see the riot shield. They did mention in the COD pod that there will be some AI enemies that use the riot shields, like as kind of one of the top tiers of the wanted levels when they come after you. Players can use them as well. They're guaranteed to be in game, but they're not invincible anymore. So they will break after they take a certain amount of damage. They will end up being damaged and kind of just fall away. It looks a lot to me like the bottom part of this. You can see there's some spikes on the bottom and this kind of step. It looks like you'll be able to plant this down and maybe like plant it down and then reload behind it and just use it as a piece of cover, which is really, really cool. Bear in mind it's destructible, so it's not like, oh, you can just block off a doorway forever with this. But that sounds like a cool way of being able to use it to me. This is the sky hooks. This is a real thing. It's well worth reading the Wikipedia page on it if you didn't know about this thing. But yeah, this is a sky hook, so it's one of the ways that you can exfil. We've seen in a little bit of footage before that you can exfil the normal way, kind of by getting on a helicopter and getting out. This, I'm assuming, will maybe be an expensive way to get out, but obviously it's a lot faster because you're less likely to get shot, and it'll attract less attention when you're preparing for it, although there'll probably be a big balloon sticking up, so I don't know. But yeah, it's another exfil option. I don't think they've said all of the different exfil options, but I like the idea that there's more than one way to get out, depending on kind of what situation you're in. And there we go. That is DMZ. And obviously they're just sort of emphasizing there, it fits in as the third mode alongside campaign and multiplayer. It's not a free-to-play thing. It's not a part of Warzone. It is just DMZ. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed by this. I really liked this trailer, this bit of sort of gameplay that we've got to see. It looks really cool, very exciting. They did say that people are going to be able to play at something called like Fanatic Fest, which is some sports thing in New York, I think, next month. So while I don't think I'll be able to go to New York for that, I will be very excited to see some more gameplay from that. Hopefully they let people show what they're doing with that. But yeah, I think it looks really good. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to see more DMZ news, content, opinions, all of that stuff, and obviously gameplay when it gets to October and we can actually play this thing, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on, leave a like on this video. It really does help to support the channel, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.